Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar. Today will be all about the Global Flex Online MBA program, which we are excited to share with you some more details. What's going to happen today? First of all, a quick introduction of the team that you know who is going to present today. And then I will share with you the agenda in a second. Maybe I've been in touch with some of you in the past. My name is Inka. I'm recruitment officer. I'm from Germany, already in Maastricht for, I think, 11 years by now. And in my role, I'm mainly assisting potential candidates with the full-time MBA and the part-time MBA program, with the whole application procedure and any questions that come along. And today with me, I also have Mirjana. Mirjana, would you briefly like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Inka. My name is Mirjana Stanisic. I am academic coordinator of a Global Flex Online MBA. Actually, I am coordinating online MBA program for many years now. I'm additionally also a member of the faculty, so I'm also teaching and engaged in teaching and curriculum development at MSM. Well, actually, Inka is saying I'm German. I also have to say I'm Serbian. So I'm here in the Netherlands for more than 20 years and working for MSM also for a number of years already. And I'm really pleased to be here today and to share some insights about our new Global Flex online MBA program.
Thank you very much, Mirjana. So what we have prepared for you, a quick agenda. We will be doing the presentation with you together. So I'll be starting just giving you a little bit of background information about MSM, some details about the Global Flex Online MBA before Mirjana dives a bit deeper into the whole online learning environment and will share some actual visuals on the platform. Then a couple of practical information to give you along the way as well. And last but not least, the Q&A. So there we do have a couple of moments designated for that. But if you like to use already the Q&A chat box for any questions while we are presenting, feel free to do so. So again, questions ideally in the Q&A. But still, if you want to tell us just briefly where you're joining us from today, feel free to mention in the chat, and then we have a bit of an idea. Thank you so much. Okay. Let's start with some general information, because maybe for some of you, it is the first time to hear about MSM, that you got in touch with us. So MSM actually stands for Maastricht School of Management, and we're based in Maastricht, so all the way south of the Netherlands. And within the Netherlands, MSM is one of the oldest and most international business schools. Now, maybe you have also heard already in the news before, but since September last year, so we almost finished one whole cycle of the student cycle, but since September, we are actually part of the University of Maastricht. So there we fall under the School of Business and Economics, which means for you, we moved location. So now we are basically located right in the city center in a very sustainable building, green environment in the city park, an old military building. And because of this merger, you also benefit from the Triple Crown accreditation. The programs we offer is all based on postgraduate education. Yeah, so only MBA, Masters in Management, and some short executive education programs as well. Maastricht itself, for those of you that are from the Netherlands, maybe you know, but it's quite a unique three-border location. And of course, the program is online, but I'm just mentioning it in case you want to visit for, some blended options. You can benefit from the cross-country connection we have with Germany and Belgium as well. MSM is very international. So not only the team, like you see Mirjana and myself, but of course also the students and alumni. So that's why you see 90 plus nationalities we have since the last couple of 5-6 years almost as well. Alumni network in general, global network is also present as well. So the MSM network, I think by now we have more than 20,000 alumni. So we also do a lot of events, stay in touch with them, meet and greet, coffee sessions. And once you are a student at MSM, you can also, of course, benefit from the alumni network. Expertise tracks, I will talk about that later as well the whole personalized learning experience, which is very, very practical oriented at MSM. again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask anytime in the Q&A. Rankings and accreditations. So I can imagine that for some of you, maybe you're making a short list, you know, of your preferred schools. Maybe also your employer is there, important with decision making. So often rankings is also used for marketing purpose, to be honest, but it's good for you to know that we are also represented there as well, the accreditation part also. And this is there to give you also some quality assurance of the program. What we do have as well, really nice option on the website, is a chat function. So that if you like to get in touch with some of our alumni or students, I'll be happy to share the link with you afterwards, because then you can ask them a bit more about their actual experience. Again, for those of you that know the Netherlands, yeah, Maastricht is all the way south, but if you come from abroad and you want to do a blended option, you can benefit from a couple of facts. It's, of course, a very good education system in the Netherlands. Everyone speaks very good English. Yeah, so the program will be in English. But also, if you just stay here, you know, for the whole 2 weeks of the expertise track, everything will be very fluent, because the Dutch are known to have very good English skills. Open-minded and friendly people as well. That's quite helpful, you know, if you stay here for a short period. Okay, now let's talk a little bit more about the Global Flex Online MBA program. In the past, we used to have an online MBA, which we now completely redesigned and revamped it. And now we launched the updated version, which is called the Global Flex Online MBA this October. The program will be in English, with just a couple of facts in English. You can do it in 2 years of classes, plus, of course, your final project. But you see also here, we offer you some flexibility. So whatever happens, you know, maybe you're changing jobs, maybe you're moving, you know, it can also take up to 4 years. And it's a part-time program. Accreditations, I've mentioned already. So there you see the Triple Crown accreditation. To give you an idea, the study load, that's roughly 20 hours per week, what you can expect. So you can combine it with a full-time job, but maybe some modules are a bit more easier for you than others, depending on your background as well. So roughly, I would say 1 to 2 hours a day on self-study. The upcoming intakes you see here. So right now, applications are actually open for the October intake. And then next year, we will be offering January, May, and then September again. So you can choose which one suits you best. By the way, the application deadline for October is September 1st. So you're still on time for that. 2 online tracks we have and blended options. And I will be talking a bit more about that in a second. Okay. 2 online tracks. So what does that actually mean for you? In the past, like what we also learned from our previous online MBA program, we wanted to give you the option to also connect and have some live classes with it, so that you also feel like a bit more the networking taking place in the class, you know, and the real interaction, not only having the recorded classes or the self practice, let's say. So right now we offer these 2 different tracks. One of them is the 100% live online track. And there you can see divided per course that you will be doing live Zoom classes. The live Zoom classes, these will actually take place twice a week, namely from Monday evening and Thursday evening from 7 till 9 Amsterdam time. So that's Central European summertime. Yeah, so that usually should fit with your schedule. If you're working Monday to Friday, it's pretty much, you know, and if you're in the same time zone. Now, if you feel maybe you need a little bit more flexibility and you can also like to study your self-paced a little bit more, not only having the live sessions, you can also choose the flexible mixed track. And there it is important because you have to decide before you apply which of these 2 tracks you like to go for, that you can commit to these classes because you see the exact dates and you see which one of them is live and which one is self-paced. But again, also on the other hand, this is a whole schedule already for the next 2.5 years. So you can ideally really plan also all your business trips, your private obligation, everything going on with the schedule accordingly. Then a little bit about the courses that you will actually be doing. So, I mean, you have to do them all, but depending on when you start, you might be doing them in a different order. To give you an idea, you have to do pretty much hard skills, like finance, accounting, economics. You'll be doing some soft skills, which is, for example, managing cultural diversity. But then we also have some so-called value-added courses included, which is, for example, entrepreneurship, supply chain as well, digital transformation. So overall, the MBA that we offer is very, very general and very well balanced, we would say. Expertise track, I will talk a little bit more on the next slide, and the final project. Briefly about the final project, there we actually give you 3 options. One of them is the thesis, but you might also do, maybe for example, if your employer is supporting you, you might also do a business consultancy project or a business plan. So those 3 options you have. The expertise tracks. So here you see an overview of all the 5 courses that we offer. And the expertise track is something that you can really deepen on in your MBA, because for a period of 2 weeks, if you do it on campus, and a couple of weeks if you do it online, you can fully focus on this topic. So what we have is the choice of these 5, and all of them we offer on campus. Like I said, in our brand new campus here in Maastricht, which is then also a perfect networking opportunity to meet also the full-time MBA students, to meet the students from the partner schools that are flying in, and to really have the whole, face-to-face connection and the blended option. If you say this might be a bit difficult, maybe you come from far away and you want to still join the specialization, of course, then I think you would need to do it online. And online we offer right now only the second option. The one is international business and sustainable development. You don't immediately have to choose, but along the way you have to decide if you want to do it on campus or online. But when you apply, you need to already put in the first and the second preference. But to be honest, also sometimes students change their mind, after they have done a couple of modules in the MBA. A little bit about the diversity. So typically MSM is super diverse when it comes to the student backgrounds. Not only are you and your future classmates coming from different, nationalities, but also all different industry profiles are represented. To give you an idea, we have quite often, quite common areas would be engineering, entrepreneurship, consultancy, but also some students come from, music therapy background, or finance or art. So all different areas are represented. And by working together with such diverse groups, it also expands your whole network, and it can be very challenging because, of course, you all have different experiences and different opinions as well. The teaching philosophy, Miana will also talk a little bit more about the assignments and so on in a moment, but overall, the MBA program is very, very practical. Yeah, so really the whole idea is that you can, apply basically everything that you learned in class also back to your workplace. Therefore, it's also a win-win for your employer. So often you have case-based learning, discussion forum, assignments, and we went away from the exams specifically for this program. Career service. Now, career service, maybe some of you are also asking about this one. So it is available for you even if you are a student of the online program. So how it works here, it will be a little bit more personal than compared to the full-time MBA, because there they have a whole career personal development track. But for the Global Flex Online MBA program, since most of you will be in a job or maybe in between jobs or changing jobs, typically you don't have the same need like a full-time MBA student who is without a job. However, whenever you would like some individualized support, preparing for an interview, doing some some workshops, maybe you want to fly into Maastricht when we have some events on campus, you are more than welcome to do so. Just for you to know, even if it's an online program, there's still an actual campus, and you're more than welcome to be here and also take place in, you know, some of the workshops and also the networking events. All right, Miana, then I will stop sharing my screen now, and then I will give the floor to you.
Now, Inka, thank you very much. We are now in the process of sharing screens, so I just ask for a few minutes. Actually, what I would like to share with you is to give you a bit of a feeling of where this online magic is happening, where actually the online MBA will be, what is the platform, and that's also very important to know and to have a bit of a feeling of how that looks like. That's usually the big question of the students, because being online and experiencing a number of exercises also and some readings as well through the platform on your own pace, let's say, it's also very important to know how that looks like. Now, I would like to explain a bit of structure as well. Well, Inka mentioned we have a lot of courses. I mean, the whole MBA, of course, takes up to 17 courses in total, including a specialization, so 13 and plus 4 for specialization. And one of the a part of the structure for this, especially this online Flex Online MBA, is exactly to provide you a possibility to go into the course and to find out something about the course very in advance that the course started. So that's why we have here, as you can see, orientation part, and then we have some modules here. Actually, the structure is as follows. Each course is structured on the following way. We have orientation phase, where we are allowing students to enter into the Canvas environment, and this is the one that you see, especially from the student view. So that's exactly what the student would see when they log in. Me as a lecturer have a bit of a different view, but this is actually really meant for you as maybe hopefully a future student. So actually you start with the orientation, and then we have 4 modules which are actually presenting each week of the study. In the classroom, we do it each day. So we normally in the face-to-face MBA, we have 4 days of teaching. This is equal to 4 modules. Actually, each module represents 1 day of teaching in the class, and that's how they divide it. So the one course will be orientation phase before the course starts, and then 4 weeks of the course, which are finalized with the final assignment in the end. So one course is equal to 4 weeks plus 1 week that you get of the time to work on the final assignment, and then you will start then a next course. So it's actually in total, let's say, the orientation phase, which is open 1 month before the course starts. And then efficiently you have a course of 4 weeks plus 1 week for the final assignment, so 5 weeks, and then the next course again. Now, I would like to show a bit the content, because that's also very interesting to see what you can expect and how actually that looks like in a combination of the Zoom sessions as well. Now, before I do that, I would like to emphasize why we did add a Zoom session also to this asynchronous approach, let's say, to the online. Because actually the need of the students, and we also realize with the feedback that we get from online or our online student, is that there is really a learning part connected to your discussions with the peers. The group work is greatly missing if you're in a classical online environment where it's very hard to combine a group work, especially if you do it in a short period of, let's say, 4 weeks. So we really wanted to give a possibility to the students to touch base with the lectures. And actually those are those 2 moments throughout the week, which maybe we would go to the gym, but in this case we would sit and really go a bit more into a discussion with the lecturers about maybe some topics that are not clear, having some little group work, discussions with your peers, which you will see throughout that week, and then repetitively throughout the whole course and through all the courses in the MBA. Well, one of the big discussions we also had with the students, and we also, I think, feel that as well, is that the biggest part of the learning is actually in those meetings and discussions that students have among each other. And that's actually the reason why we really did add, and we think it's really an added value of having the Zoom sessions as well. However, one biggest part of your learning is also taking place in Canvas, starting, as I mentioned, with orientation, where we have with a welcome note, explanation about the learning objectives and how the assessment would look alike, how you can study a course. And one also important element, especially for the lecturers, is a little quiz of asking yourself what you already know about that topic, and questions that you would like to pose to the lecturer on your first Zoom session you will experience when you start the course. That also gives a bit of a feeling for the lecturer to know to prepare for the group properly, so to tailor maybe some of the materials, but also to be able to know what kind of a group we have and how much knowledge we have on this typical or on that course that is in case. I will just open briefly, so you have a feeling how that looks like. So this is the welcome for the strategic course. This environment, as you can see, it's rather friendly, I would say rather simple, which is very good, because if you use it all the time, it really has to be very efficient and simple. Here you have a next button to go to the next page. In this case, it's learning objectives and how the assessment will take place. Then we go into how to study this course, where there is an explanation of what is the name of the course, what is the basic structure, what are the assignments, some study tips, where the next stop would be a little questions on what I already know, that you can already start asking yourself. So it's a bit of a touching a base on the topics and the questions for the Zoom session. So before the Zoom session would start first for the course, you have a possibility to also ask a lecturer something about the course itself, or maybe is there some topic that you would like, or maybe you would like to read more, or some maybe more practical questions that's also visible. Now, that orientation phase, of course, takes 1 month. It's open and ready for the participants to enroll before they officially start their first module, let's say the first week. As you can see, it starts with the Zoom sessions on Monday as well, where we definitely would not only repeat what you can see here, but also to touch a base with the students to say, okay, those topics are maybe a bit harder, or where they have to pay attention, but also to teach a bit. Because it's also nice to hear from the lecturers a bit more, to share a bit more knowledge on a certain topic. As you can see, in this particular course, there are 2 different topics. So for 1 week, you have 2 topics, topic 1 and topic 2, with a number of exercises. Well, the complete flow of the course is really based on the providing a topic, explaining to the students. I will just click it here so you can see. So this is the explanation about the topic, where you will be focusing, what are the key concepts. So really getting a bit of information on what you will learn that week, especially within this topic. Then further on, how you can study the materials. Well, that also can be throughout the course. There is a bit of a diversity. Sometimes we have a video explaining the topic, maybe triggering you to start thinking about a certain topic. In this case, there is a video from a YouTube and essential reading for that topic. So those are the materials you will have to read. If we go into a second topic, then we again have the firm international capabilities, what we are going to focus on, what are the concepts. Activating your knowledge. In this case, there are just a little story about what are connected to the topic that you will go to. And of course, you have a reading material connected to it. And what is really handy is that by clicking on if there is additional place next to the book chapter, because usually it's a book chapter, but then it can also be that you have additional material, in this case from Harvard Business Review. It's a very handy that you can just click on this link and you are immediately in EBSCO basis, and you have, or some other basis, and then you can immediately read your material. So there is no need to switch to another, to click the windows and to switch them. We really try to make it much easier for all the students. Now, what is also very important is that after reading a certain topic and going into a certain elements or theory, for example, it will be very important to reflect on it. And not only to reflect, to trigger a bit of a thinking and reflecting on the topic, but also to activate your knowledge, which will be, those are the two follow-up activities that are repeating for each of the modules. So end of each week, after going through the topic 1 and going through the topic 2, you would be able to reflect. How the reflection activity looks like? Well, actually, in this case, we ask you to think before watching. You have to think about a certain topic. Then you have to watch a video. And then you will write in this discussion board couple of words. It's exactly, I would not say it's really a discussion board message. And that will be shared with your peers. So all of them will get back to you. So you will have your opinion. Then someone else will say, hey, that was really good. Or I think differently, or I think the same because of, and then the discussion goes on. So this is really a very nice tool, especially discussion boards, to kick off a bit of a discussion between the peers where actually that learning is happening. Now, in the end of the complete module, we give you also a possibility to test yourself, to say, hey, we did discuss, I did read, let's see whether I really know enough. So you can really self-assess your own knowledge. And that definitely can be done through the quiz in this case. Now, going into the second week, let's say the topic 3 and 4, we have exactly the same. I will just go here, click on the left, so you will be able to see. This is a module 1. Then we go to module 2, which is looking exactly the same as the previous one with reflective activity. In this case, in the previous one, we've seen that reflective activity was a video. In this case, reflective activity actually is to also think about a certain topic, but then to read an article. And the post, again, a discussion board, giving an opinion about some questions at stake in that particular article. What I want to add is that in each module, although the structure is repetitive, that doesn't mean that the activities are in the exactly same shape. So sometimes for reflection, you can have a video. For activating your knowledge, actually, here on application activity, it can be a question, it can be a quiz. So there are variations between the way the activities are presented in each course. So it will not be constantly, it can become boring a bit. So we really try to add a bit more knowledge and a bit more variations in it. So as you can see, module 1, module 2, and exactly module 3, they're all repeating the same structure. Again, module 4 as well. Now, one of the important parts which we get as a question as well is how the assessment looks like, because of course, in being engaged in the MBA study, you have to be assessed as well. We have to test a bit how much you did learn. In this online setup, in the Zoom-based online setup, we try to assess students on 2 ways. The first one is after the module 2, we ask students to do a little case analysis assignment, and I will click on it so you can just have an idea of how that looks like. Netflix in India is in the stake, and there are some questions that you will have to answer. You can submit a small assignment, that's individual assignment. It's after the second week of your course, and that will be graded and 30% of your final grade. And in the end of the course, of course, is the final assignment. And I will just click here. So we will assess your knowledge. And in this case, there is an explanation of assignments. There is a strategy consultant. You will have to analyze something and to do something. I don't go too much into details. And of course, explanation about evaluation, about the length and everything else, all the nitty-gritty details that you need to know when you are submitting the assignment. Again, to work on the assignment, you have an extra week after the course is finished. I would like maybe just to emphasize one more thing, that of course we have orientation phase, then we have each week a module. All the activities that are here, we would say also reflective activity or application activity. We are aware that our students are rather busy and they have a busy weeks. That's why we want to really touch a base with you throughout the week with the Zoom sessions and to have a bit of exercises and to have a chance to discuss more issues with your colleagues on a certain topic. We also give you a possibility to go through all the activities and reflective activity and application activity on your own pace. So if we are this week, we are in the week 1 and you are in the topic 1 and topic 2, some students would maybe reflect on Tuesday, some students will reflect on Thursday, but to my experience by being engaged is this type of program, I think it's a really added value of getting those feedbacks and checking your canvas each day and seeing, hey, someone did react on what I did post. It's a very exciting process. Again, Canvas is rather handy and very easy to use. So I think it's, well, at least from some other platforms, maybe even more student friendly, I would say. So as I mentioned, then there is, again, just to maybe wrap up a bit, Canvas is the platform that would be used. You will be able to enter the course before you start the course itself to orientate yourself on the topics. The course is based, the structure of the course is based on 4 modules. Each module takes 1 week. And in the end, there is a final assignment, time to write the final assignment. And during each week, there are Zoom sessions planned to touch base with your colleagues and also maybe to do some group exercises, depending on the course and on the organization as well. I think, well, I don't know, do I need to say something else? I think I did cover most of the things I wanted to say. I also mentioned the variety of the exercises, of course, so you will be able to read the chapter in the book or maybe some case study, for example. You will be able to check your knowledge through the self-assessment quizzes, to reflect on what you did read, and also to activate your knowledge in the end of each module, like actually a week, by activating your knowledge and checking, answering a certain questions or doing a little assignment. And of course, there is an assessment included after the 2nd week and after the complete module at the end of the 4th, actually, submission of the final assignment and end of the 5th week dedicated for that particular course. Maybe it would be very important to know that the complete curriculum, so all the exercises and the curriculum in general, the topic, the book, and everything else that you would be experiencing in this online MBA course, that would be exactly the same used in the face-to-face in all the other modalities. So the curriculum that we are offering now here is exactly the same in all our modalities of the MBA program. No matter is it in Maastricht or somewhere else in the world, it's actually connected to the same, has the same basis, let's say. Mostly the lectures are also the same. I would say for myself, I'm also engaged in teaching online, but also teaching face-to-face, also going to partner locations. So the faculty is really skilled to teach in a different modalities of the program, no matter is it online, a Zoom-based, or it's really a face-to-face. Inka, is there anything else I did have to add that I didn't? I did forget.
Thank you, Mariana. I think everything was clear. So from my side, we can otherwise switch again and I will continue.
Yeah, if there will be any question, of course.
Yes.
No.
Thank you, Mariana. Okay, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, practical information, just a couple of more things I wanted to share with you. And I already got some questions in the meantime in the chat. So the full tuition fee right now for the Global Flex Online MBA program for starting this October intake is 28,500 euros. We do offer different scholarships, which you can combine. Basically, you can apply for as many as you want as long as you are eligible, but we give maximum 40%. At the same time, when you fill in your MBA application is also when you apply for the scholarships. Then for those of you that are based in the Netherlands, there's also from the DUO the lifelong learning grant that you would be eligible to apply for. That might be an option as well. So we would be happy to help you filling in all the forms. Keep in mind for this one, you first have to be accepted with MSM before you can apply with DUO. Another option would be to also get the employer involved. So maybe your employer is supporting you financially or give you some extra leave days, which does happen. We see sometimes indeed with the part-time programs because there's a return on investment for your employer as well. So we have a couple of arguments prepared. If you like to see this overview, which helps you for your next discussion with HR, let me know. I'll be happy to send this over. And last but not least, we are also open to discuss installments. And installments also probably different for all of you. So it could be like monthly, quarterly, yearly. That's something we would be open to discuss. The application process. Roughly said, the whole application procedure takes about 3 weeks from the moment that you submit your application until you are hopefully accepted for the program. And to get there, what you need is, of course, access the application portal. There, we do ask you to upload all the major documents, like your educational documents, proof of English, such as IELTS or TOEFL. The scores you can also see on the website. Recommendations, these have to be professional, not academic, but you can simply send a reference request through the portal. And you see personalized motivation letters. So there we do have also some tips on the website, and I would advise you to really pay attention to this. So it should be specifically for MSM and don't use the same motivation letter for different schools. An application fee is 95 euros. And then you can submit your application. After reviewing by the admissions committee, there will be an interview happening if everything is in order. And the interview can be online, but it could also be on campus. So that's really depending on where you are located. But it will always be with 2 representatives from MSM. And maybe you also see with different schools, most of them will have the GMAT or the GRE as a hard requirement. That's also the case with us. So if you have the GMAT, it should be a score of 600 or higher. We do also offer you an alternative though. So if you don't have the GMAT or the GRE, you can also choose to do the leveling courses that we offer at MSM, which are for you for free, and you have to complete them after being accepted, but before starting the program. What you can think of, it's like short courses and tests in fields like finance, economics, statistics, and accounting, plus also academic writing, that is the Write and Cite course. So all this together, there are a couple of steps involved, but from my side, I will be happy to help you. Typical questions, anything, you can always send to me, then I can guide you through the whole application procedure. Now we are at the end of the presentation, so I hope it was a good overview of both program information and really some practical insights as well. I did receive a couple of questions. One of them, Mirjana, actually, maybe from your opinion, what would you think? Why should someone choose the Flex program rather the fully online version?
Well, I think, I'm working as the academic coordinator for online MBA, which has a bit of a different setup, which is more asynchronous. And I think the pandemic also and the use of Zoom-based teaching did really had an impact on not only on the lectures, but I think mainly for the students as well. I think combination of being able to go through all the materials and to the number of exercises on your own pace, Plus, being able to touch a base with the lecturer, to discuss maybe some topics that you are not understanding properly or you need a bit of explanation, to do a bit of a group work, to team up with your peers. I think that's the learning process is really taking place. Being in those discussions, not only on written, in the exercises that we have in the fully online, but also having a chance to discuss with your colleagues and to hear more words from the lecturer throughout the week or the Zoom-based teaching, let's say, is really an added value for the student, especially the learning process. It goes better, it goes faster. So I think that's the added value, to keep you connected to the group, to feel as a part of the group. And also what I think it's one of the very important elements is helps you keep the track of your study. Because if you're fully left on your own, and you do online without any really assignments or any push from, I would say push, maybe sounds too rough, but encouragement from the outside. In this case is being able to go on the Zoom sessions and to really keep a track with what is happening each week. I think you have to have a very high level of discipline. It's not impossible, but I think this way is really allowing students or participants to be more engaged and to learn easier. Doing it in the group is always, I think, easier. Well, that's
all right. Thank you.
I don't know if I did gave a proper
Yes,
answer.
it was very clear. Thank you. Another question we received asking if the 1 week in between the courses is basically sufficient, in your opinion, to finish off the assignments.
Well, I think it is. We practice that with the regular MBA. We practice that also with the current online MBA. They have also 1 week in between. I would say for some courses might be easier. For some courses, maybe it is more challenging, to be honest. I mean, depends also on the personal pre-knowledge and also some drive to write and ability to write easier or maybe harder. However, I think 1 week with all the combinations of the exercises that are provided, where you can already check your knowledge, and you have a self-assessment, you have reflection, you activate your knowledge, you try to apply it. And then 1 week, if you do it, really follow the course as expected, and invest some time throughout the week on that. Coming to the final assignment for 1 week, I think it's really easy to write. It's 2,000 to 3,000 words. It's not really very long. However, we ask you to reflect, or actually to write about something that you already read about. So nothing beyond the materials that are provided in Canvas. So that's the idea. So I think it's really definitely sufficient.
Thank you. And how about those assignments that you mentioned? Are they mostly individual, or are there also any group assignments taking place?
Well, the assignments that are submitted to be assessed, they are individual assignments. The reason for that is that we really are aware of the dynamics of the week. And we know that the students should be also able to provide the small assignment, and especially the final assignment, as individual. That's definitely an individual final assignment is in all our programs. However, the Zoom sessions are actually giving that possibility to have a bit of a group assignment. So that's also that added value that I'm mentioning when seeing your peers, but also trying to apply and to together think about a certain problem, which definitely is possible within 2 hours that are allocated throughout the week.
Mm-hmm. And about those 2 hours, what if I miss a Zoom session?
Well, of course, it can happen that the Zoom session is missed. Life happens, that we all know. In agreement with the lecturer, of course, if you tell in advance, I cannot come, there is always a solution. There is a possibility to read or some extra materials, to do a small assignment. I mean, that's a possibility to compensate not being able to participate at times is always there. We face that with students, even in the classroom. It can happen that someone gets sick or it's not able to participate. So that is easily solved, of course, with the lecture. And it can always be a small assignment to read something and to write some words about the certain topic. And again, it's about the learning process, and it's really to help you out in the end to pass the final assessment.
All right. Thank you so much, Miana. I think that's all the questions we received. I will quickly mention also my email address in the chat, but anyway, we will also be sending the recording. So if there's any question afterwards, feel free to just drop a quick email. Then other than that, thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon, to stay in touch, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you so much and have a good afternoon.
Thank you so much from my side as well. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.